All right, we are back in a snowy, cold Athens, Georgia. Well, really, it's the southeast. It's snowy and cold. Um, Not going to talk about the playoffs. Congratulations to Notre Dame for winning. I saw that. Um, I saw it coming. I watched the last minute. I begrudgingly watched it. It was really tough to see it because I just know.
Well, I know we complain about our offensive coordinator, but how about within 3 minutes left, down on your own side, throwing it against or throwing it in the middle of the field while you're getting clobbered and
Yeah,
reception.
that's
That was a
what
good
I was
catch by
talking
that
about.
guy. I know we're not going to talk about it, but anyway.
Typical Penn State, and I saw it coming. Ohio State takes on Texas today as recording. It's Friday afternoon. Don't care. Pretty sure Ohio State's going to move on, but they have a bad track record against the SEC, so who knows? Would be funny if they lost, though. I got to tell you, I'm pulling for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I am too, given the other two alternatives. I don't want to see Texas win it, and I definitely don't want to see Ohio State win it. So,
yeah, and Notre Dame booted us out, so some moral victory. All right, I guess the biggest news that we should talk about before we get in who's staying, who's leaving. We know one guy that's leaving, and we thought he's leaving for the NFL, and everyone was sending their flowers to him. Hey, great career, damn good dog. And then Carson Beck decides, well, wait a minute, guys, I'm not done yet. I want to go hang out with my girlfriend down on the beach in Miami. So he's going to Miami. I got to tell you, it's a head scratcher for me. I don't really understand. He stayed all this time at Georgia, 5 years at Georgia. You earned your spot. All you talked about was how important Georgia was and how you loved Georgia and blah, 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 blah. And then what seems to be on your way out, you kind of backstab, felt like to me.
well, I'll give you my. It's not surprising. First of all, and I told you this off camera, but when you start giving 18, 19, 20-year-old guys all the power, and that's what these guys have right now, because Carson, even though with the injury and not such a great year, he's a prized commodity. So he was looking to get more money, and then he also got his draft grade. And with an injury, he kind of knew probably where he was going to be in the NFL draft, which is probably not where he wanted to go.
Sure.
Not after having this year, and then after coming off the surgery. Hey, let me look around and see who's going to pay me the most money. And hey, it happens to be where my girlfriend goes. The fact the kid bought a Lamborghini before the season with his NIL money, none of this surprises. I mean, it's unfortunate. But we might as well, as fans, which is I don't like it, but it's where we are in the reality of college football. Loyalty means absolutely nothing. Loyalty means who's going to pay me more, and where can I go and get the most money and the most playing time, and it's all about me, not about the team.
I guess, but here's my thing. I mean, you sat there and you moped around every time you turned the ball over. Georgia fans defended you over and over again. And you knew your draft grade whenever you declared for the draft. So I don't really understand why. It wasn't like a secret.
I think he kind of feels like Kirby and the program kind of let him down by not putting playmakers around him. Too many drops, not enough running game. Hey, I'm just telling you how someone in Carson's position could feel. So I'm giving you both sides of the story. It sucks. But I'm ready to move on, and if he don't want to be here, let him go play somewhere else and might go be coached by Cristobal, who can't manage the clock and has no idea what he's doing. I used to think he was a good coach, but he's not a good coach. And with him, I don't think Miami's going to win anything. So good luck down there.
Yeah, I don't know. It bothers me. I'm sorry. It just bothers me. Yeah, it just. How much we had to put on, I'm fine with moving on. I think it's time for us to move on. But it bothers me the way it was handled. Because you declare. You don't have to declare. No one was asking you to declare, man. You didn't have to do anything. You could have just sat there and been quiet. And you said, hey, I'm going to enter the transfer portal. No harm done. It looks like the Georgia's ready to move on. But you declared, and you wrote this whole long piece about how Georgia's been so great and la-di-da. And then whenever you announce that you're leaving, there's not a mention about Georgia.
Well, he got his draft grade, and then Miami hit him with an offer. That's what happened.
Yeah, $4 million.
Is that what he's getting?
$4 million, yeah.
Well, this won't be the. I saw a headline where it said he could be the highest paid college athlete since NIL. So this is more to come. You recruit these, especially the skill players. Obviously, you recruit them, and if you're not able to match the rate that a Texas or Ohio State or Texas A&M, you're going to lose them more than likely, because it's not about the programs. It's what the programs can do for the individual kid. That's what we're in.
Yeah. CBS, they did have an article yesterday that dropped about the quiet tension that Georgia was basically ready to move on. Whoever was inside Carson's camp hit Georgia up last minute right before it was announced that he was going to go into the portal. Seemed like there's a lot of strife between Carson and some teammates, not named, obviously, because of the girlfriend and the TikToks and not focusing on football. Which, again, I think a lot of people – I think that if I was an NFL GM, that would be my biggest question to him. How much do you love football? Because at times it didn't look like he really wanted to be there. So that I got to tell you, during the Sugar Bowl, he did not look like he wanted to be there at all. I didn't want to be there either, but he didn't look like he was enjoying it.
No, on the sidelines with his cap on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, and also in that report, maybe it wasn't, but you said that he arrived a day. He wasn't around the team. He was going to get medical advice. Arrived a day after the team arrived, and didn't attend any of the bowl practices or any of that kind of stuff. So the writing was on the wall. And if I had to guess, Max, he was exploring his opportunities and felt let down by the program. I'm not saying it was justified, but that's kind of where I think we're at with Carson Beck. So
well, most turnovers since 2013. So not saying that he's not a good quarterback. He's good. Georgia's record without him wouldn't have been great.
Agreed.
But also maybe Georgia wouldn't be in some of those places if it wasn't for Carson Beck. Just saying. I guess it can go either way. All right. Well, let's talk about the guys. I have a list here. Let's just run through these guys who are returning, guys who are leaving, guys who are going to the NFL, guys who are in the portal. So Dalen Everett, it was announced today, Friday, that he's coming back. I think that's a huge get. I know I was down on him for a long time.
Yes, you were.
But he's been the most productive corner that we've had.
Most consistent, yeah.
So that's huge for us. Don't have to worry about that. And then the competition, I guess, would be Daniel Harris, Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones. Georgia's cornerback situation, I know there's going to be a lot made of it during the offseason. It's going to be okay. It'll be fine, especially with Kirby coaching them. I'm not too worried about it. You got anything on that?
No, I tend to agree with you. If anything, Georgia's secondary and defensive backs are going to be solid. It's a point of pride. Plus, you got Muschamp there. You got two defensive, but you got a safeties coach and a corners coach. So there's plenty of resources there to make sure those guys and Ellis Robinson, KJ Bolden, some of these
Aguero, who needs to show.
Yep. He's had a year of playing, he was in and out of the lineup for a lot of different reasons, but he's had a year now under his belt. So I expect to see improvement there. So I think defensive backs will be fine.
Yeah. I got it.
And then linebackers, we lost Bowles, obviously. And then biggest one for me was Damon Wilson, right?
Right.
But he hasn't signed with anybody.
No. Cash Jones, he made a graphic that he's coming back. Thank God. I'm glad he made that graphic. I'm glad Georgia's graphic team got on that. All jokes aside, though,
Hey, he's valuable.
But I think every defense knows whenever he goes out there, it's going to be a pass play. Tyron Ingram Dawkins going to the pros. I got to tell you, a head scratcher on this one.
Me too.
Don't know why. Obviously, he had a better grade. But man, I don't get it.
I'm with you 100% on that, as well as Fairchild, as well as our center. I don't get that either.
I don't get it either. Micah Bell, Dylan Bell's brother. He's a defensive back. He played running back in high school from Vanderbilt. I guess it's nice to have your brothers. I don't know.
We got two sets of brothers, right?
Yeah. Brett Thorson's coming back. Not a shocker. Colin Gill, who we got from the transfer portal last year, played at Oregon. He's back in the transfer portal. Dylan Bell's returning. Kirby stuff Billy Napier in a locker over Adrian Maddox, the safety out of UAB. He was committed to Florida, and then last minute Georgia got him. He's from Conyers, so it makes more sense that he'd come to Georgia. But It was very funny that Florida fans got upset on social media that Kirby cheated once again.
Welcome to the real world, Florida fans.
Yeah, over a 3-star. It's a 3-star safety. He's there for depth. He's there for oh shit emergency. So I mean, yeah, whatever, Florida. Jared Wilson again. He played one seat. Cedric Van Pran played in 2023, right?
Yes, he did. So he's played one season.
Yeah, he's played one year.
Of film on him.
I don't really get it,
and I don't think our offensive line was that great this year.
No. We got a safety that started all Miami's games, Jaden Harris. Good pickup. I think that's, though, more for depth. Offensive line, Fairchild declared, which we both said. I mean, Fairchild probably will go third, fourth round. I'm sure that's probably his grade. But I think he could have played himself into a better draft.
I would think. I mean, offensive line, you don't very, very rarely do you get an offensive lineman that's going to walk into the NFL that's going to start. So I don't know how high he could have gotten, but I would have thought he would like to have gotten more film, more game experience. But, what do I know?
Yeah. Malachi Starks declares. I think we both knew that. The biggest one, and you touched on it a little bit, it's the Damon Wilson one. He still hasn't signed. It's been it's been about a week now that he's announced. It's more than likely, if he does go anywhere, it's Ohio State. I think it might be one of these situations where he wants to be loved on and told how great he is and get a little extra money, NIL bag. Kind of what Amarius Mims did. Where he left, went to Florida State. They rolled out the red carpet. They were doing the tomahawk chop, and he did not look happy being down in Tallahassee. As soon as that visit was over, he announced that he was coming back to Georgia. So I think it's one of those situations. I could be wrong. I mean, he could go to Ohio State. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me unless he wants more money. He's going to be a starter. So I don't know why he would want to leave.
Well, the other thing too that I would add to that, which makes it more perplexing, whoever is advising him, that look at how many linebackers Georgia has put in the NFL since Kirby's and Schumann's been there. So you're in a prime position to continue to get developed. You're going to get plenty of playing time, and you're going to get paid if you stay at the University of Georgia. It may not be as much as you're going to get paid in the NFL.
Sure.
To your point, he might not be making enough or be getting enough attention on the Georgia squad. I don't know. We're sitting here speculating about, as I say, 18, 19-year-old kids. Who knows? And also what kind of advice they're getting from family and friends. We don't know. We don't know what their situations are. financially and family wise, he may need to make more money. Who knows? I have any idea. But it's bizarre to me without knowing all those things.
But also, you got to think Georgia's got a ton of talent on the outside linebacker. It hasn't played. A lot of the kids that are on the roster haven't played, but you got a ton of talent. So Chris Cole, I mean, he got playing time this year. He got, I think, probably more playing time than Wilson, and that might be the reason why he's leaving. I think he's going to be a ball player. Justin Williams is probably going to be in that position like Smile Munden was in, where he's kind of like a rusher and also a linebacker, kind of what they did with Smile this year. So, and there's other guys I'm lapsing in names right now, but they got tons of talent. Kirby's been recruiting linebackers pretty good since 2021. They've had a ton of talent come in on the outside linebacker. So I'm not too worried about. That's the only thing I've been following in recruiting is outside linebackers. It's ridiculous how many 4 and 5 stars we have. All right. Michael Williams, not a real big surprise. I kind of would like him to come back.
But he can get paid, though, by the NFL.
This one hurt me the most because I love him. I think he's probably the best player Georgia's had in a long time. Very underrated to me. Jalen Walker, bad man. Whoever gets him, I'll be a fan of. He's going to the NFL. I could do a whole segment on Jalen Walker. I love Jalen Walker. I just love.
Maybe you can do that without me. I like it. I mean, he's a good ball player, but I don't think he's one of the better ball players. I think Jalen Carter is one of the better ball players we've had.
I'm not going to disagree with you. Jalen Carter, probably the biggest impact. I would agree with that. But since Kirby's taken over, since 2016, Jalen Walker is probably third of best.
I have to sit down and think about it more. Roquan was huge.
Roquan, sure. I think
we're talking just on defense. If we're talking about all – Brock Bowers is the best player.
No, that's not even that's not a – look, I can do 2 podcasts on just Brock Bowers. But defensively, it's probably Jalen Carter. I would put Jalen Walker number 2. Number 3 is Roquan. Jalen Walker, bad man. Bad man.
Kobe Dean was pretty damn important too.
Pretty good too.
Leadership and just being a dog. I like Kobe a lot.
Maybe in the summer, whenever we run out.
That's the other thing. When we look back on these championship years, and hopefully they're not over, one of the things that pops out at me is how many Nolan Smith, how many really good leaders that Georgia had on those teams. Not to mention the Stetson Bennett that had a little bit of swagger to him and a little bit of whatever you want to call it. They had some guys that were excellent leaders that were just dogs. And I think perhaps we don't have as many of those as what we once had.
Well, Kirby says that we have great leadership, but I didn't see it this year, but that's just me.
Well, we're not in the locker room. We're not, they had a brutal schedule. So I'll take Kirby's word for it. But anyway,
just saying, probably this summer we should probably do like a top 10 because we're going to run out of ideas. So that's not a bad idea. Sit down and rank them. Christian Miller coming back he had a really good.
He's important.
Yeah, had a good closing to the season. Tech, he played well. I'm trying to think of the game. There's UMass, and who was before UMass? Tennessee. He had a good game. And then obviously SEC championship had a hell of a game. Knocked that guard from Texas probably never wants to see him again. Knocked his ass back. The one with the big collar.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame, he had a great game. Got held, I don't know how many times, never called. So that was a big return. It helps the defense. Defensive line.
It does.
And then the biggest to me so far this portal, and it's not big that we got for sure talent. I think it's more so big because it's a change in Georgia's philosophy in the transfer portal, and that's getting the Branch brothers, Zechariah and Zion Branch. Zion, I don't know a whole lot about him. I have a friend that's a big SC fan. He says he's good, but when you're talking about defensive guys from USC, I kind of turn my nose up.
And didn't the defensive back? No, it was one. The safeties coach came from SC.
USC,
right? That's
yeah,
the connection potentially there.
sure. Probably actually, I didn't think about that. But Zechariah, yeah, Branch, do can play. Twitchy, fast, in space. Has the speed of Arian Smith and has better hands, and then kind of like Lovett, where he can get open.
Well, now that the season's over, whenever you say he had better hands than Arian Smith, I think a double amputee would have better hands than Arian Smith.
So I know it cost a lot of money for Georgia to get them. I know they came here to want to, play for championships, playing big games, playing big moments. I think this is a better this wide receiver room has completely changed to me.
I'll wait. I'm going to withhold judgment. Last year when we got the kid that ended up being a wife beater that never got back on the field from Miami, right? And we had Ra, and we had all these receivers. I thought, well, there's not one single standout, but there's a lot of talent there. And that was, along with the offensive line, in my opinion, that position group needed to be revamped. I still don't have I got a whole lot of confidence in the wide receivers coach in terms of recruiting, but in terms of coaching up talent, I'm not exactly sure, quite honestly, but that's between him and Kirby. And to me, we still, I'm concerned. Look, you can go out, and I hope this isn't the case. And you gotta walk and chew gum at the same time. You go back and you self-analyze your offense, Georgia does, and you look at it and say, well, we didn't have enough big plays. We didn't have enough explosive plays. We didn't have enough of a threat. People weren't able to get separation. And when they did, they dropped the ball. All true, by the way.
Yeah.
But if you don't fix the offensive line, which is what Kirby came in talking about, offensive and defensive line, and we've lost everybody that has any playing experience except the two tackles, one of which has regressed, Ernest Green. The other one, that Freeling, who I had high hopes for, he looked like a statue in the game against Notre Dame. And then you got Bobo, who, he's had limited playing experience. When he did get in there, he showed himself to be capable. But outside of that, I don't know who else do we have? Micah Morris, is he coming back?
Yeah.
Who else am I missing?
Merriweather is going to be there. Jamal Merriweather.
No playing experience that I meaningful.
Talented though. I'm trying to think. Nair Daniels is another guy. Daniel Calhoun, who was a tackle in high school at Walton. He's a guard at Georgia. I think he's going to play, and I think he's really good. Those are the names that I can think of. They got here's the thing. The last recruiting class of 2023, or I guess, would that be 23 or 24?
It would have been 23, the 24 class. I think the 24 class would be the one just coming in, right?
They could have been the 25 class. I don't know, but the past two recruiting classes before this one, Kirby's focus on offense and defensive line because the NFL took a ton of it. And I got to tell you, I think this offensive line is has a lot of talent in it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have any, really, honestly, and I know he's a topic.
Coach? No.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have any on the development and coaching them up? I just have basically, since Matt Luke and Sam Pittman's left, I've seen a decline in the offensive play. Look, There was an article that Connor Riley on Dog Nation, he rewrote about a guy. I don't even know who the CBS analyst was, and you know what their big takeaway was?
What?
It was like, yeah, dude, Georgia needs to revamp their offense in the new playoff. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock, but Connor did a good job with coming down and giving the statistics. We had more drops. We had less yardage running the ball than any time under Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
We've gotten away from our identity, in my opinion, and became too quarterback centric to try to build and highlight Carson Beck's talent. And that was a problem.
Well, here's the other thing too, and this is nothing off of Trevor Etienne, but he's not a bell cow. He's not a Zamir White. He's not a Kenny McIntosh. He's not going to get you. He's not going to have 15 to 20 carries a game, right? He's more.
I don't think Georgia has. I mean, so far we haven't seen a back that.
The guy who can is Frazier, and we don't play him.
I don't know if he can be that guy. I don't know. I haven't seen him enough. So, but I can tell you,
that's what I'm saying.
I like Etienne. I think he's I think he's a talented guy. Obviously, I agree with you. And the thing that you and I were watching I think it was Notre Dame game, the Sky Cam, right? The view, instead of listening to the announcers because neither one of us could stand them.
Sean McDonough.
If you watch that, the number of holes that he danced and missed by half of a second that were there, if he could just plant his and not dance, one plant and just go. Yeah. There were some holes there that we didn't take advantage of. Now, again, I'm not saying that he should have hit them 100% of the time, but there was a lot there that we missed. Instead of getting 6 and 8 yards, we got maybe 2, and those are big differences. Those add up.
Yeah. I thought our offensive line played well enough for us to win that game.
I didn't. Too many sacks, too many pressures.
Well, the sacks, sure, yeah, but in the run game, and then we didn't run it consistently.
We didn't stay with it consistent, and that's been a knock on Bobo since
2007.
Perpetuity.
Yeah. So, look, my overall point, and there's Jaden Rashada left. I mean, what a shocker! That kid, I think he's really talented. I think he's really good. I think wherever he plays next, he'll probably be really good for him.
Who's this? I'm sorry.
Jaden Rashada.
Oh.
But, he's in and out. I mean, he's gone to 3 different he was committed to Miami, went to Florida, left Florida, went to Arizona State, went to Georgia. Now he's in the transfer portal. So Miami, Florida. Yeah.
6.
Yeah. So 6 in like 2 years. So the kid's obviously got something going on. And all his dad on social media is like, he came to Georgia to get developed. Well, fuck, I guess it was quick development because he was gone after 1 season.
Well, maybe a better way to say it is it only takes a year to learn everything that Bobo has to teach you. So I don't know.
Maybe. But this offense is going to be completely new. You got 4 out of 5 starters. You're going to have new guys at wide receiver. The only familiar face that you're going to see wide out is Dylan Bell. And I'm not giving up on Dylan Bell. I know he dropped that pass in the Sugar Bowl, and boy, was it bad. I mean, hit him right in the shoulder. But I'm not giving up on him. I think he's good. I mean, what we saw in 2023 wasn't a fluke. Drops are contagious. All right. Arian Smith was in the room. He was sitting there, and everyone else got it.
There's something.
Yeah. Quarterback, you're going to have Gunner or Ryan Puglisi. I'm a Puglisi fan. Pug. I'm just going to call him Pug because it's hard to say it with a cold. I'm a big fan of him. I don't know if Kirby will do that. I'm pretty sure he's going to go with Gunner. So you're going to have basically tight ends, the only room really where there isn't new. You have Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky, and Jaden Rydell.
You got some talent coming in there. You got Barber and that other kid from Illinois.
The kid, the 6'7", that is like Darnell Washington. So that's big. That's huge. Georgia it'll be a different look on offense. They also have Bo Walker coming in, who I think is a really talented running back. So the offense is going to be new. Defense is going to be new too. You're going to have Raylan Wilson. You have C.J. Allen. You're going to have Justin Williams be more of a playmaker in the defense. You're going to have Chris Cole, who we talked about. I forgot. Chris Jones, who got some playing time this
He's
year.
number 29. He's always been my guy. You know what I'm talking? He's an edge rusher.
Isn't that Chris Jones?
No, he's 18 or 19. 29. He's been there. He's been around the program for a while, and he's played behind some really good guys. But he's built, to me, he's built like an NFL outside linebacker.
All right, let's pull it up here because now you're confusing me. Gabe Harris.
Yes.
Gabe Harris. Look at this. Well, you can't look at it. You got Gabe Harris, who I think is really good. You got Quintavious Johnson, who's really good. Highly recruited guy out of high school. Yeah, let's see. Who else? I'm trying to see. Defensive line. You're going to have Joseph Anjay, Jonah Anjay, whoever. He was a highly recruited guy. I can never say his name right. You got Jordan Hall's coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Obuku, who had a pretty good ending of the season. Najir Johnson, talented guy out of high school. Christian Miller, Xavier McLeod, and then Jordan Thomas. So defensively, you're going to be okay. You have also Warren Brinson coming back.
Warren Brinson's coming back?
No, shit. I'm sorry. I get Warren Brinson and Christian Miller confused. Christian Miller's coming back. No word on Chaz Chambliss yet. He should come back. Why not?
I thought he was out of eligibility.
Fuck. Right to the wheels fall off, my man. Chris Jones, talented kid. Chris Cole, obviously. Raylan Wilson, Dalian Everett, Ellis Robinson. Did Chris Pill announce if he's going to the transfer portal or not?
I haven't heard. I didn't. If I did, I forgot.
KJ Bolden, Kyron Jones, Daniel Harris, DeMello Jones, who I mentioned, Andre Evans, who's another highly recruited guy, didn't play a whole lot this year. Ja'Cory Thomas, Janelle Aguero. So this team has a ton of talent, but it's talent that is unproven. And talent that hasn't really played a whole lot.
Right.
So, it's a reset button, and it's going to be a hard season. But your biggest tests are at home. So, I don't know. I feel pretty good.
I mean, I'm going to be really curious to see what you hear coming out of the offseason. Is Bobo going to be there? Is he going to take a step back? It looks like for now he's not going anywhere. It doesn't look like Stacey Searle's still out on the recruiting trail.
Oh, can I add an amendment to that?
Sure.
Okay. I was thinking about this the other day in the shower. I have a lot of deep thoughts in the shower. And one of them was we're in a different calendar with college football. Like we're not even at the national championship. I mean, as of recording, what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 3 years ago today, Georgia won its first national championship in 41 years. We got another 10 days before the national championships played. So the calendar's changed. So there's not a lot of coaches leaving, going to the pros. The playoffs haven't really finished. The firings I don't think are done yet in the NFL. Belichick hasn't really put together his offense or his staff yet altogether. So there's a lot of moving pieces out there, and there's still some head coaching vacancies in college football right now. So there's going to be movement. So I would wait to cast judgment on the coaching staff till February comes along.
All right. Well, I'll reserve judgment. I think there's going to have to be some shakeup. The status quo is not acceptable over the last couple of years.
It has to,
especially on offense.
Searles has got to go. There's no excuse.
I agree.
None.
I agree.
So, by the way, 2022, you basically had, I know I brought this up last podcast when we were talking about the Sugar Bowl, but I've been watching because I just want happy memories in my head while everyone else is being happy. 2022, I watched that Missouri game. The whole talk was Georgia's not getting it done on the offensive line. They have a new offensive line coach. Who is it? Stacey Searles. The rest of the year, by the way, Georgia couldn't consistently run the ball in certain games. They couldn't.
Right.
So it's been the same thing every year since he's been here.
And the slow starts, that's another, to me, that's a mindset thing. Where I think you said it earlier. I think there's a lot of, I don't know. I'm concerned that a sense of entitlement and comfortable. Hey, we're Georgia. We're going to roll the ball out and we'll settle into this game. And we got so much talent, and we're the University of Georgia. We'll come back and beat you at the end, which was true, 11 times and not true 3 times. So, I mean, to me, the whole starting quick has to be the offensive line and defensive line setting the marker right up front. We're going to whip your ass, and we're going to whip your ass for 60 minutes. And if it takes longer, we'll whip your ass 60-plus minutes. That hasn't happened. And that mindset of the trenches seems to me we've lost our edge a little bit and lost our commitment to the run. Certainly we did this year.
Totally agree. All right. Well, on that note, we solved every Georgia issue. We'll see. I would add this. So my inside source did say that the people that have left, what he just alluded to, is true. Kirby has hit the reset button. And the guys who thought they didn't have to earn it and eat off the floor, as Kirby would say, they're not there anymore. The guys who are willing to eat off the floor and and work and develop, those guys are there. And until things change in college football as a whole, Georgia's going to continue to get those guys. And they're going to be, 4, 3 stars, 2 stars. Kirby's going to rather coach those guys than the guys who are 5 stars who are unwilling to eat off the floor. And I got to tell you, I'd much rather win with those with the 2 and 3 stars than the 5 stars who don't give a fuck. So
I know we talked about this a lot in previous episodes or whatever, but it makes it hard for a college football fan. I feel like I know less about this roster than I have at any roster probably in a long, long time. I don't follow recruiting the way I used to.
Yeah.
Because I figure if we get a kid, if he lasts 2 years, I may get to know his name. Otherwise, he's probably going to transfer out. It is all about the individual player and not about the program or the university anymore. And if you continue to do that, college football, regardless of what the rankings or the ratings might be telling you, you're gonna have some fans falling off.
Well, you're going to lose the vast majority of your fans because that is college football fans. So, I don't know how the thing that college football is doing is hurting its fan base, and they think that they're going to grow the game. It's always going to be number 2. It's been number 2 since not really, but since the modern age. So, NFL's NFL. It's going to get eyeballs just for casual fans. It's football. It's an American staple. That's the problem. Don't hurt your fan base. Don't do what NASCAR, what Major League Baseball, what WWE, what the NBA is doing right now. Don't fall in that trap. But they are. So, but I'll still be around. I'll go down with the ship, I guess. All right. On that note, remember to like and subscribe, comment, I don't know what should be the comment be. I'll let you pick the comment.
I guess there's a couple. What do you think about the current state of college football overall? And then secondly, what do you feel about what Georgia's doing from a roster, bringing in people and what they're doing to fill some of the gaps that we were blatantly obvious this year?
Yeah, I think those are fair questions. All right. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, follow us on all social media platforms at Terminus Sports _ATL, X, I was going to say Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, which is going to be banned in 9 days. So,
Unless Americans buy it.
Yeah. So I mean, do with that information what you will. All right, and then our presenting sponsor, Union Shippers Atlanta, give us a pitch.
Yeah, we work with small to medium-sized businesses to help them reduce their shipping costs, whether it's a letter or a pallet or a full truckload. If you looked at your shipping expenses for the fourth quarter, which is typically most people's busiest time of year when it comes to shipping, and you think that's gotten out of control, feel free to call us and ask for Holland Martin, and we'll give you a no-obligation cost analysis and see if we can help you out.
All right. Well, we'll see you on the other side.
See ya.